If you're over 60 and you have noticed that your strength is quietly slipping away, even though you try to stay active, this message is for you. What I am about to share is not a trend, not a miracle promise, and not something flashy you would see in a gym commercial. It is something many doctors quietly recommend because it works with your aging body instead of fighting against it. And if you stay with me until the end, you will understand why this one simple movement may protect your independence years from now, and why missing it could cost you more than you realize. I want you to picture a very normal moment. You're standing up from a chair, lifting a grocery bag, or climbing a short flight of stairs. Nothing dramatic, yet you feel that slight hesitation in your legs or arms that was not there before. That pause is not weakness in character or lack of effort. It is muscle loss, and it often begins silently after the age of 50. Doctors call it age-related muscle decline, and studies suggest it accelerates after 60 if it is not addressed in the right way. Here is the part many people do not tell you. Going to the gym alone does not always solve this problem for older adults. In fact, pushing heavy machines or doing fast-paced workouts can sometimes make things worse. I have seen patients who tried to copy routines meant for younger bodies and ended up sore, discouraged, or even injured. That leads many people to stop altogether, which speeds up muscle loss even more. Muscle is not just about looking fit. It supports your joints, protects your balance, and helps control blood sugar. When muscle fades, the risk of falls increases, recovery from illness slows down, and daily life quietly becomes harder. This is why doctors worry when seniors say, "I'm just slowing down." Slowing down is often the first warning sign. Now here is where I want you to lean in, because this is the part most people miss. Muscles after 60 do not respond best to intensity. They respond best to signals. Very specific signals that tell the body, "I still need this muscle." Do not break it down. That signal comes from one very basic movement pattern that almost every healthy adult can safely do with small adjustments. Before I explain it, let me clear something up. This is not about doing more. It is about doing smarter. Many health experts agree that older muscles rebuild more effectively when they are activated slowly, under control, and through natural ranges of motion. This reduces strain on the joints while waking up the muscle fibers that matter most for strength and stability. Think of your body like an old but well-built house. You do not tear down the walls to make it stronger. You reinforce the foundation. The movement I am about to describe does exactly that. It works the largest muscle groups in your body, the ones that keep you upright, balanced, and mobile. What surprises many people is that surgeons and rehabilitation doctors often prioritize this movement before any machines or weights. Why? Because it mimics real life. It trains the exact muscles you use every single day, and it does so in a way that feels safe, controlled, and familiar. You may already be doing a weaker version of this movement without realizing it. Every time you sit down or stand up, your body performs it. But when done intentionally, slowly, and with proper awareness, it becomes one of the most powerful tools for preserving muscle after 60. At this point, you might be wondering why no one ever explained it this way before. The truth is, simple solutions do not sell gym memberships or fancy equipment. But doctors see the results quietly in exam rooms and recovery centers. They see patients who can get up from a chair without using their hands. They see better balance, fewer falls, and stronger legs within weeks, not months. There's something else important I need you to understand. Muscle rebuilding at your age is not about forcing growth. It is about reminding your nervous system that these muscles are still needed. Once that message is sent clearly and consistently, the body often responds better than people expect, even in their 70s. I have spoken to many older adults who believed it was too late for them. That belief is far more dangerous than aging itself. Studies indicate that muscle tissue remains responsive to the right kind of stimulus well into later life. The key is choosing movements that respect your joints, your balance, and your recovery ability. In a moment, I'm going to walk you through how this one movement works, why surgeons favor it, and how to adjust it to your own body so it feels safe instead of intimidating. I will also explain the biggest mistake people make when trying for the first time, because that mistake can cancel out the benefits. But before we go there, I want you to take a breath and recognize something important. The fact that you are still seeking information, still curious, and still willing to learn tells me you are not done yet. Your body listens to what you ask of it. The right request, made consistently, can change how strong and steady you feel in everyday life. Stay with me, because what comes next is not about pushing harder. It is about moving with intention, and it may change the way you think about strength after 60. Let me explain this in a calm, practical way, because I want you to feel confident, not overwhelmed. The movement surgeons often point to is something your body already understands. It is the controlled act of sitting down and standing back up. When done correctly, it becomes one of the safest and most effective ways to rebuild strength in your legs, hips, and core without stressing your joints. Now, before your mind jumps to the idea that this sounds too simple to matter, stay with me. Simplicity does not mean weakness. In medicine, the most reliable tools are often the simplest ones, especially for older adults. This movement activates the large muscle groups that protect your knees, hips, and lower back. These are the muscles that keep you steady when you walk, help you catch yourself if you trip, and allow you to live without constantly relying on support. Here is why doctors value this movement so highly. It closely matches real life. Your body does not care how much weight you can lift in a gym. It cares whether you can rise from a chair, get out of a car, or stand up from the toilet without strain. When you practice this movement slowly and intentionally, you train the exact muscles responsible for those actions. Many health experts agree that muscle fibers most likely to weaken with age are the ones responsible for stability and endurance. Fast or jerky exercises often miss these fibers or overload the joints. A slow, controlled sit-to-stand motion does the opposite. It sends a clear signal to your nervous system that these muscles are still essential. Let us talk about how to do this safely, because safety is everything at this stage of life. You start with a sturdy chair, one that does not roll or slide. Place it against a wall if needed. Sit tall, feet flat on the floor, about shoulder width apart. Before you move, take a breath. This pause matters. It allows your body to engage the muscles intentionally instead of reacting automatically. As you stand, lean slightly forward from your hips, not your lower back. Press through your heels and rise slowly. Imagine your legs doing the work, not momentum. When you sit back down, do it even more slowly. This lowering phase is where much of the muscle activation happens. Doctors often emphasize this part because muscles work hardest when they lengthen under control. You may feel a gentle burn in your thighs or hips. That is not danger. That is activation. Pain in the joints, sharp discomfort, or dizziness is not expected. If you feel those, you stop and adjust. This is about listening, not pushing. Here is something important that many people overlook. You do not need to do many repetitions. Even 5 to 8 slow, controlled movements can be enough in the beginning. Quality matters far more than quantity. Studies suggest that consistency with low-impact strength movements produces better long-term results in seniors than occasional intense workouts. Another reason this movement is so powerful is balance. Every time you stand and sit with control, your body practices coordination. Your brain and muscles communicate more clearly. This connection weakens with age if it is not used. Rebuilding it can reduce fall risk, which is one of the biggest threats to independence after 60. I want to address a concern I hear often. Many people say, "My knees hurt, so I cannot do this." Knee discomfort is common, but avoiding movement entirely often makes it worse. When done correctly, this movement can actually support the knee by strengthening the muscles around it. Doctors often recommend adjusting the height of the chair to reduce strain. A higher seat means less pressure on the knees. Over time, as strength improves, the movement becomes easier, not harder. There's also an emotional side to this that rarely gets discussed. Losing strength can make people feel older than they are. It creates quiet fear. Fear of falling. Fear of becoming a burden. fear of losing control over daily life. When you regain even a small amount of strength, that fear often softens. Confidence grows, and confidence itself improves movement quality. You may be wondering how often this should be done. Many health professionals suggest starting with 2 or 3 times a week. Not every day. Muscles need recovery, especially aging muscles. During recovery, the body repairs and strengthens tissue. That is where progress happens. It is also important to understand that this movement works best when paired with patience. Results do not appear overnight, but they do appear. Many people notice better stability within a few weeks. Standing feels easier. Walking feels more secure. These are meaningful changes. In the next part, I want to share why this single movement can sometimes outperform gym machines for older adults and what surgeons observe in patients who commit to it. There's also one common mistake that can quietly undo the benefits if you're not aware of it. That detail alone can make the difference between progress and frustration. Stay with me, because understanding this next piece can help you protect your joints while strengthening your muscles in a way that feels sustainable. There's a reason surgeons and rehabilitation doctors often favor this movement over complex gym equipment, especially for people in their 60s and beyond. Machines isolate muscles. Life does not. When you use a machine, your body is supported, guided, and protected from imbalance. That can be helpful early in recovery, but it does not fully prepare you for real-world movement. Standing up from a chair does. It requires strength, balance, coordination, and control all at once. Doctors notice something very telling in their patients. Those who practice this movement regularly tend to recover faster after illness or surgery. They maintain mobility longer. They are less likely to rely on walkers or canes earlier than necessary. This is not because the movement is magical. It is because it trains the body to do what it was designed to do efficiently and safely. Let me explain what is happening inside your body in simple terms. When you stand up slowly, your muscles contract in a coordinated way. Your brain sends signals down your nerves, telling multiple muscle groups to work together. This communication pathway weakens with age if it is not used. Repeating this movement strengthens that connection. Many health experts believe this brain-to-muscle connection is just as important as muscle size itself. There's also a hormone response involved. Gentle strength movements encourage the release of substances in the body that support muscle repair. This response is often blunted with intense workouts in older adults due to stress and inflammation. A controlled sit-to-stand motion avoids that overload while still sending the right signals. Now I want to talk about the mistake I mentioned earlier because it is very common and very easy to fix. The mistake is rushing. Many people drop into the chair quickly or push themselves up using momentum. When that happens, the muscles do less work and the joints take more stress. The movement becomes less effective and sometimes uncomfortable. Slowing down changes everything. A good rule many therapists suggest is taking about 3 seconds to stand up and 3 to 4 seconds to sit down. This pace keeps the muscles engaged and protects the joints. If that feels too slow at first, that is okay. You adjust. The goal is control, not perfection. Another common issue is posture. If you round your back or let your knees collapse inward, the body compensates in ways that reduce the benefit. Keeping your chest lifted and your knees gently tracking over your feet helps distribute the load safely. If balance feels uncertain, lightly resting your hands on your thighs or a stable surface is acceptable. This is not cheating. It is adapting. You might be asking yourself how this fits into your day. The beauty of this movement is that it does not require special clothing, a gym membership, or a dedicated hour. It can be part of your routine. A few controlled repetitions before breakfast, a few in the afternoon. It blends into life instead of interrupting it. Many older adults find that pairing this movement with a quiet moment of focus improves the experience. Paying attention to your breathing, your posture, and how your body feels turns it into more than exercise. It becomes a form of self-care. That mental engagement further strengthens the brain-body connection. It is also important to mention that this movement can be progressed gently over time. Doctors often suggest small changes rather than big jumps. Lowering the chair slightly, holding a light object close to your chest, pausing briefly at the bottom before standing. Each adjustment increases the challenge without increasing risk. Progression should feel manageable, not intimidating. Let's talk honestly about expectations. This movement will not turn back the clock. That is not realistic. What it can do is slow decline and, in many cases, restore lost function. That is a powerful outcome. Maintaining the ability to move independently is one of the strongest predictors of quality of life as we age. There is another benefit that does not get enough attention. Practicing this movement builds trust in your body. When you know you can stand up without struggling, fear decreases. Fear changes how you move. Reduced fear leads to smoother, safer motion. This positive cycle matters more than many people realize. I have seen people who avoided movement because they were afraid of pain. After learning to move slowly and intentionally, their confidence returned. Their pain did not disappear overnight, but their relationship with their body changed. That shift alone can improve daily comfort. Before we continue, I want to remind you of something important. Always listen to your body, and if you have medical conditions or recent injuries, discuss new movements with your healthcare provider. This is about supporting your health, not pushing past limits. In the next part, I want to share how this single movement fits into a broader picture of healthy aging. We will talk about how nutrition, rest, and mindset quietly influence muscle strength, and why ignoring these factors can limit progress even if you exercise correctly. This connection often surprises people, but it makes all the difference. When we talk about rebuilding and protecting muscle after 60, movement is only one part of the story. It is a very important part, but it does not work in isolation. Your body is a system, and every part of that system influences how well your muscles respond. This is where many people unknowingly slow their own progress, even when they're doing the right movement. Let us start with something simple but powerful: food. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at using protein. That does not mean you need extreme diets or supplements. It means timing and consistency matter more than ever. Doctors often suggest spreading protein intake evenly throughout the day instead of having most of it at one meal. This helps your muscles receive a steady supply of building material. Even modest amounts, taken regularly, can support muscle maintenance. Hydration also plays a quiet role. Dehydration can make muscles feel weaker and joints feel stiffer. Many older adults do not feel thirsty until they are already dehydrated. Drinking water consistently throughout the day supports circulation, nutrient delivery, and recovery. This alone can make movement feel easier and more comfortable. Now let us talk about rest, because rest is where rebuilding happens. Muscle does not grow during movement. It adapts afterward. Many people believe they need to exercise daily to see results, but for aging muscles, that approach can backfire. Gentle stress followed by adequate rest allows the body to repair tissue without excessive inflammation. This is why spacing your movement sessions makes sense. Sleep deserves special attention. Poor sleep interferes with hormone balance and muscle repair. Even one restless night can affect strength and coordination the next day. Creating a calm bedtime routine, limiting late-night screen use, and maintaining a regular sleep schedule can indirectly improve your physical strength. It may not feel connected, but the body does not separate sleep from movement. There's also a mental component that rarely gets discussed openly. How you think about aging influences how your body responds. People who believe decline is inevitable often move less, hesitate more, and avoid challenges. This cautious behavior sends signals to the nervous system that reinforce weakness. On the other hand, gentle confidence encourages smoother, stronger movement. This does not mean ignoring pain or pretending everything is fine. It means replacing fear with informed caution. When you understand that slow, controlled movement is safe, your body relaxes. Muscles activate more effectively when the nervous system is calm. Stress and anxiety create tension, which interferes with coordination and strength. Many health experts emphasize the importance of routine. Doing this movement at roughly the same time of day builds habit and reduces mental resistance. When something becomes routine, it requires less motivation. This matters because motivation fluctuates, especially when energy levels change. Routine carries you through those low-energy days. Another factor to consider is footwear and environment. Practicing this movement barefoot or in supportive shoes on a stable surface improves sensory feedback. Your feet send information to your brain about balance and position. Clear feedback improves coordination. A clutter-free space reduces anxiety and allows you to focus on form instead of worrying about safety. Let us address progress, because expectations can either encourage you or discourage you. Progress after 60 is often subtle at first. It may show up as less effort when standing, less hesitation, less reliance on armrests. These are meaningful improvements, even if they feel small. Recognizing them reinforces consistency. Comparing yourself to others is rarely helpful. Bodies age differently. Medical history, lifestyle, and genetics all play a role. The only comparison that matters is how you feel now versus how you felt a few weeks ago. That perspective keeps the focus where it belongs. It is also worth mentioning that this movement pairs well with walking. Walking supports circulation, heart health, and endurance. The sit-to-stand movement supports strength and balance. Together, they create a foundation for daily function. Neither needs to be extreme to be effective. Some people worry that if they stop improving, they have failed. That is not how aging bodies work. Plateaus are normal. Maintaining strength is a success. Slowing decline is a success. The goal is not constant improvement. The goal is preserving independence and comfort. I want you to hear this clearly. Even if you've been inactive for years, your body can still respond. It may respond more slowly. It may respond differently, but it can respond. Many doctors see patients regain abilities they thought were gone, simply by reintroducing the right movements with patience. At this stage, the most important thing is not intensity. It is consistency with care. Small actions repeated over time shape outcomes more than occasional bursts of effort. This approach respects your body and builds trust instead of strain. In the final part, I'm going to bring everything together in a simple, realistic way. We will talk about how to turn this knowledge into a lasting habit, how to recognize warning signs that mean you should pause or adjust, and how to stay motivated without pressure. There's also one final perspective I want to share, something many people only realize after a health scare. It may help you see your strength in a new light. Before we finish, I want to slow this down and speak to you directly, because this part matters more than technique. Everything we have talked about comes down to one quiet truth. Your strength is not just physical. It is tied to how you care for yourself, how you listen to your body, and how you show up for your own future. Turning this movement into a lasting habit does not require discipline in the traditional sense. It requires kindness and structure. Choose a time of day when your energy is usually steady. Link the movement to something you already do, like getting up in the morning or preparing a meal. When it is attached to an existing routine, it becomes part of life instead of another task on a list. Pay attention to how your body responds, not just during the movement, but afterward. Mild muscle tiredness that fades within a day is expected. Sharp pain, swelling, or lingering discomfort is not. Those are signs to pause, adjust, or speak with your healthcare provider. Listening early prevents setbacks later. There may be days when you feel stiff or discouraged. On those days, doing fewer repetitions with more care is still success. Skipping entirely out of frustration often leads to longer breaks, and restarting becomes harder. Gentle consistency keeps the door open. I also want you to recognize warning signs that deserve attention. Increasing difficulty standing, sudden balance changes, or frequent near falls are not things to ignore. They are signals. Addressing them early, with safe movement and professional guidance, can prevent serious consequences. Many doctors agree that prevention is far easier than recovery. Motivation is another piece people struggle with. Motivation fades when progress feels invisible. This is why tracking small wins matters. Notice when you no longer need to push off with your hands. Notice when standing feels smoother. These moments are evidence that your body is adapting, even if the mirror does not show it. There is something deeper I want to leave you with. Many people only start valuing their strength after a fall, a hospitalization, or a loss of independence. By then, rebuilding is harder. Choosing to move with intention now is a form of respect for your future self. It is a quiet decision that says, I am still here and I still matter. You're not trying to become younger. You're trying to remain capable. Capable of standing up with confidence. Capable of walking without fear. Capable of living on your own terms as long as possible. That is a meaningful goal, and it is within reach for many people who believe it is already gone. If this message resonated with you, consider making this movement part of your week. Talk to your doctor if you have concerns. Share this information with someone you care about. Strength shared is strength multiplied. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, share, and subscribe.